Alright, hey guys, how's it going? Fail here again. I'm back to do another tier list video. This is right after the balance changes for what I was calling 1.75. The 6th, new update, new snipers, all that fun stuff. There's been a few changes going on. A lot on Emperor side, and most all the changes were at the top. So, we'll go over them today. Also, I made a new thing with the Fail 5. We'll just top 5 heroes. We'll go over that at the end. But we'll start up, go back to the client. And first of all, we're going to start with Empire, because they kind of got the biggest change with that. And we're going to start with the top guy for Empire. And that is Krennic. Well, his DSL is kind of on the shitter right now, unless you have him pretty high. If you have him like 4, 5, 6, alright, use him. He's pretty good. But other than that, he's kind of useless. But, however, Krennic is just a beast right now in this meta. Everybody's sitting back, trying to defend and everything. And his special ability, skill, and his consecutive attackers are strong. The extra energy helps him out so much. His skill against defensive guys, you can just go in, pop a tower, pop a hero, just come out, and you're fine. And then you get it up so often against tanks and GNKs and stuff. Like a lot of tanks for rebels, you can just stop and shoot them, and then you get your skill back up. So right now he's number 1 for Empire, definitely for me. He's just got so much usefulness and stuff. If they ever make DSL good, he's just gonna be a monster beast. Next up, I think a lot of people will be surprised, but it's definitely Boba. Especially with the changes to net. Slave 1 is just a beast now. If people want to sit back, alright, I'm just gonna bomb you, I'm gonna bomb anything. Cheap net, cheap AoE. This is so good. Not to mention Boba. Like, being able to jump the middle isn't the greatest thing in the world, but it can help sometimes. You need to make a fast escape, you need to do quick damage. He does a lot of damage to leaders, which is really good in this meta, because everybody's trying to sit back, but if you snipe him out with Slave 1 and all his damage, you get some free damage on turrets. Also, his flamethrower is really good against all the... Just having AoE against Swarm is so good. And it's free. And his skill, again, AoE. Snipe, whole bunch of AoE, snipe tower. Especially with the 12% more, just snipe a hero, it's so good. Especially because you can do it outside of turret range. So Boba is just all around. So much AoE, so much damage. So he's really good right now. And then of course everybody's favorite, Vader. Vader's showing up here, 40th. Everybody knows why he's good. Kind of same as Boba, lots of AoE. He's just got more health than Boba. A little bit more AoE, but the special ability helps him out. Problem is, if people are smart, you can stand back. He doesn't have as much health as most melee heroes, so he's not as good in that sense. You just kind of got to stay away from him and you're okay. But then again, like, with all that, he still has so much AoE. It's ridiculous. So he is definitely number 3 for Empire right now. Those are definitely the top 3. And then next up, I was thinking about putting Callus up there, but I think Yogurt just keeps him back. He doesn't have as much utility as Krennic, so not having a decent unique kind of screws you over, but he just has so much control. Just so much AoE again. And like with his 10% more to units, he's just a beast when he's taking on units. And he just controls everything so well, and you can stun everything. Especially with other stuns getting nerfed and CC, makes his a little better. Everybody's still mad that he doesn't do as much damage, but it's not about the damage, it's about the CC. So again, he's really good. He's pretty beefy. And just so much AoE. What's only keep him down is Yogar. Just the randomness of the attack speed. It's just not good. And then, alright. And then we get a bunch of guys that kind of fell just because of the net buff or nerf. 40th Vader, or sorry, old Vader, OG Vader. He gets hit pretty hard because basically what you wanted to do was like net, stun, Afra, and pull, and you would just wreck everything. But now I don't even know if that would be preferable. I don't even know if you want to use net since it costs too much. You might just want more power, push through stuff. But with that, like, he's still slow, but everything else is really good. Afra's really great, super great, unique. The health back is, I don't think a lot of people notice it, but I've noticed, like, if you dive a lot, it's pretty handy. You get Afra up, you get your Bladesman up. Even 2 back, it's nice. And then his pull is great. Pull is great for everything. And again, he's, like, I have him level 4, but he's got massive health no matter what. One of the guys that really got hit hard was poor Tarkin. That was basically a free card for him half the time, so that was super good for him. But now it's the nerf, I don't know. I don't think a lot of people will use them. The thing is with Empire, there's so many good tech cards or support cards. Like Nerve Gas might make a showing. People are starting to pull out Peg Trap. So I think he'll still be fine. He's just not as, like, he just can't cycle net as well, so that drops him a fair bit. Because the race at the top's pretty close, so one little thing can kind of knock you out. So I wouldn't like throw him away completely, but he's still pretty good. And then I know a lot of people probably don't think Thrawn should be not in the top tier, but I'm warming up to Price a little bit more in this meta because people are just sitting back. So you just play Price and then you kind of force them to do stuff. Otherwise, you can just play like free stuff all day. My biggest problem with Thrawn is that Rebels have so much AoE. Like whenever I play Thrawn, there's been a couple times I run into like 4 AoEs in a deck. Like you have Grenadier, Boomerang, Ion Line, and X-Wing. It's like, what? This is insane. He's still super fun to play. Like his Stormtrooper drops are awesome. Gets so much damage if he stays alive, and his buff is just so much fun too. So Thrawn's a lot of fun to play, but running up at Boomerang, it's just not as good as the other guys. I think if Boomerang or Ion Line ever get a nerf, Thrawn's gonna shoot straight up. And those are the A tier guys. Now we're getting to the B tier. A little harder to play, but can still make some noise. First up is Bossk. Got a little bit of buff. I still think he's the same as, like, he's got more health, but he still has AoE, he still has energy gain, and he still has CCs. So in the hands of the skilled player is really good. He just has a little less damage than you'd like, and IG-88 got hit so hard that it's hard to use him now. If they ever make it so IG-88's ability is good again, I think Bossk will shoot up too. But right now, he's just not up there with the top end guys, unfortunately. And then we have Seventh Sister, who is in a weird place. Because she can be really good, but she can also be really bad too. Problem is, like, if you can kill her droids, she's tough to play. But if you can get droids on something, she just does massive damage. So it's basically, if you're good with her, it's great. You can dodge the boomerangs, you can dodge the AoE, you're good. But I think she has a higher skill cap than most people think, especially against good players. I really like Fifth Brother. I think he's great. Super fat, super strong. I don't think a lot of people use him, but with Kanan and Luke's running around, I think even Han, I think he'll start to see more play, especially with Net. Like, not gonna be as good. Stun. Taunts are super strong now, even stronger than they were before. So we'll see. I think one thing too, a lot with Seventh Sister is not a lot of people have her pretty high. So that's holding her back a little bit, but okay. Kind of the same thing with Thrawn. AoE just fucks up her droids, and it's tough. And we're getting to like the lower end. Like all those guys are pretty, like Bosk and Seven Sister are decent. You can play them and still do good. And then we're getting in the guys that are kind of iffy. Like, we'll go with Dengar. Forlom's a beast. But, problem with Dengar is he's all damage. Like, if you lose a turret, you get a lot of damage. He's got a little AoE. It's not as good as Boba's because it's a shorter range. And it doesn't do the extra 12% to heroes, so it's just a little weaker. His second attack is really strong, but you end up standing around for a little bit. So he's near the super low. Like, he's fun to play, and if you're good with him, you can rack up the wins, but he's not going to be better than the other heroes, just straight up. Forlom, though, is just a beast. That's one of the reasons, like, Dengar's not in the complete bottom. Forlom's just a monster. Next up is Emperor. He kind of has the same thing as Dengar. He just shits damage. Like, super OP damage, but if you get stunned or slowed down at all, he just dies instantly. The buff to the Royal Guards helped him out. Royal Guards are strong now. Just like, he's got no utility. All he is damage. And with that theme, the very lowest of the low for Empire is GI. Like, if you can kind of pick up a similarity in all these guys, the three guys at the bottom, is that they're all damage, and they don't really have any utility. Problem with GI is he's quick, like when he's running, but his move speed is really slow, and it takes a lot to get back. His skill's a little tough to use, especially like I was using it with Net, and it worked really good, but now Net got screwed. So I still think GI will probably have to use Net, because you can just net everything and spin, and it does great damage, but it hurts. One of the big problems is Eighth Brother is his stupid lightsaber throw, because he's so fast, so much damage, but he'll stop and then throw his thing, and then you lose so much DPS just from him standing around waiting for his lightsaber to come back. I think if they fix Eighth Brother, GI will shoot up a lot. But right now, it's hard to get it to work, and if you're looking for good heroes, you definitely look somewhere else. Alright guys, we're going to switch to Rebels, and the first Rebel up, the best Rebel, I think everybody knows, it's Bodhi. Bodhi by far. Especially with the Net nerfs, he just gets so strong. Like, G and K with him is just gross. There we go. Like, so much health. It's hard to stop now. And like, he should never die. He'll always have energy, health backs just sitting there. U-Wing's super strong. And he just picks on the fact that Empire, other than Blazeman, just doesn't have single DPS. So he's super strong. He kind of promotes the draw meta, but it's one of those things, like, if you're really good with Bodhi, you'll never lose. Which I'm really surprised he didn't get nerfed. He got kind of buffed. Patch, so it's kind of weird. But, you know, that's how it goes sometimes. I think the biggest thing saving Bodhi is he's kind of boring to play, so not a lot of people play him. They want a little bit more action. Next up, we have Hera. Hera is just a beast. Like, she's a little low on damage, a little low on health, but her special ability works because you want to play Chopper all the time. Chopper's so good. Like, everybody's using MTV, light vehicle, whatever. And a bunch of the guys have, like, Forlom, you can use it on, turrets. So, you're always going to be playing Choppers, so you get more energy. Skill cooldown cheaper, which is great because her skill is amazing. Just basically carpet bomb the whole area. So much fun. And it's just one of those things, like, most of the time too, you can do it safely. Like, I don't think a lot of people realized it, but when she was coming down, she usually comes down behind, but if you net and stun her, you could easily kill her. But now net and stun, I don't think will be run decks, like both of them side by side. So I think she gets a pretty big buff too. So she's definitely number 2 in Rebels right now. And then you have This one moved up a lot from my last one, is Jin. I was thinking about moving up last time too, but I just didn't think it would happen, but it did. Like, Jin's super good. Change with Sniper. Sniper does so much damage with her. Pow's pretty strong. He's just a tanky guy with range that does a lot of damage with his special. And he slows everybody, which is super nice for Jin. I think she was another one that benefits from the stun and net nerf, because to snipe stuff sometimes when you're just sitting back, you kind of have to go out pretty far, so you're kind of getting the risk of just getting CC'd a lot. So I don't think she's got to worry about that. Her special ability is so strong. Like, just with Pathfinders, like the entire deck was just only range card was Pathfinders. This was great. But you get Pow and you get Boomerang Guy or Grenadier. And her skills just amazing. Pop people off when they're trying to run away, pop towers. And her melee attack's super strong. So guys will run, like, if you can get in and do some damage with a melee, you're just ahead of the curve. So strong. She just doesn't have as much utility as Bodhi and Hera. That's why she's not as... Alright. And lastly, in top tier, I wasn't sure if I should do it this week. I was thinking about dropping him, but I still think he's okay. For S tier, I think Chewie will make a comeback, because I don't think there'll be a lot more. I don't know, it's tough to tell. But Chewie's one of those things, like, if they have melee heroes, it's great. But if they don't, it's kind of rough. But reason I didn't drop on down, though, was because of all the CC nerfs again. Makes it easy to drop a skill down. He still gets a lot more damage with his lucky shot. But I still think he's decent. He can defend well. He can get on a turret pretty quick. And Chewie, just taunt so strong. So I'm seeing more decks with Chewie. So we'll see how it goes. He's really good against 40 Vader. And, like, we'll see how my list goes. But it's not as strong against Boba and Krennic. But if Cows keeps seeing play, it'll be nice too. Alright, that's it for S tiers for Rebels. We're going to A tier now. It's a little lower. We'll go with Luke. The problem with Luke is I see a lot of people playing badly. They either sit back and wait to Kenobi somebody, or they just face charge. So I think Luke being an A is more or less some of the people that play him. Because I think he can be really good with Kenobi. Like, Kenobi's 6 energy, taking over things at the right time, dodging the stuns and stuff, can be really good. And then if you can block some tower shots, get people closer in range, especially with Krennic and Boba coming up, if you can block some of their shots, it's a lot nicer. But see how it goes. It's just one of those things. Luke ends up just being the brainless guys. It's like face charge or do nothing. See how it ends up being, but he basically, like, it's all about his block. Like, his skill is meh. It's okay for taking out some AoEs. Special ability, okay. It happens every once in a while, but. And then next up is 40 Luke. I know a lot of people don't like him, but he's just got so much utility. Like, between the melee and range attacks, it's so nice. But problem is, he's got a little low damage, a little low health. His skill's sweet. It's only the type CC skill that Rebels have, other than maybe like Han stun, mini stun. His attack damage is really underplayed, I think. People are gonna be running ATSTs more now, and like light vehicles and stuff. You just do so much damage to him. So I think he deserves a spot up high. He's definitely better than a lot of people think. Also, one guy that's fallen from grace now is Cassian. I still think he's good, but problem is, just having Pathfinders is so sick. I think the problem is he just doesn't do enough damage sometimes. Like, if you're playing a melee hero, you can just kind of ignore him enough. Before you have K2, but problem is you're running like MTV or like vehicle, Empire tank. Doesn't help for K2. It's just not as good. It's hard for him to deal with it. But I think this is more to do with the other guys getting a little buff from all the CC than Cassin really being that bad. But, hey, I got a Wookiee. But he can move back up again pretty soon, depending on how things go. But everybody knows Cassian, everybody knows what he's doing. And then that's it for A's for Rebels. Move down to B tier. This one was tough, actually. Because Ezra, I don't know what's going to happen. I played Ezra a fair bit. Kanan's super strong. I think if he's not one of the best uniques now, he's really close. Between him and Forlom. Just the ability to deflect tower shots is sick. It's ridiculous. For 3 energy. Got a lot of health. Does lots of damage. If you ever run up to try and stop him from blocking shots, you'll see how much damage he does. Biggest problem with Ezra is his skill is really tough to use. Doesn't do very much damage. And his special ability's really dumb, I think. Like, you usually get a couple attacks off at 40%. It's like, okay, no, I'm dead. But still, he's a good diver. He can get to towers quick. His jumping back with Blaster can be helpful, but it can also suck sometimes. So if you're really skilled with it, it's really good, but otherwise it's pretty shit. So I think that's what keeps him. Depending how the AoE situation goes, you can move up really quick though. Because if people start using Pike Trap a lot, I think Kanan will be even more valuable. So if all you see is Pike Traps, it's definitely, even like Nerve Gas. If people stick with Net and Stun, then he's not as good, but if they switch to Nervous Gas and Pike Trap, which I think might happen just because people are like overreacting with the Net for a bit, I think Ezra will move up. I'm almost thinking about moving up, but for right now, it's mostly about Kanan. So, Kanan, sorry. So he could be a mover pretty quick. Next up is Lando. Lando's just in a weird place because he has a really good ability, but it's so random sometimes. That's basically it. It's, the randomness kind of fucks him over. So one of those things. You can get really good cards in your hand and get 2 energy and be great, or you can get the worst cards in your hand and get 1 energy and you're like, oh man. He's the only guy I would consider playing with Repair. Just because if you don't need him, you can toss him. And then if he gets AoE down, you can re-roll for him and then you can get him up again real quick. I'm not saying use him, but it's definitely possible. Nien Nub, he's just a good little AoE for on 2. Like, he's nothing spectacular, but he's definitely usable, so I don't think it hurts him, but it doesn't really help him either, so Lando's kind of stuck in the middle just because of the randomness. See if that changes, but I doubt it. And then this is going to be, like, the lower tier guys for Rebels kind of have the same problem as Empire, because we're getting the C2 here. We'll start off with everybody's new buffed hero, is Leia. She's not as much DPS, because her ability to get 10% movement speed, but problem is sometimes you don't want the movement speed, sometimes you do, so it's a little toss up in the air. Problem is she does no damage, she has no health. Her skill is sick if you can get, like, drop it on an ATST, drop it on Empire tank, drop it on turrets. Strong. But that's really what you're using her for, is just drop 4 Rebel Honor Guards and stuff. Evan is just there, even, however you want to pronounce it. I think they should almost make her like Jhin, where she's shooting, she does low damage. If she's melee, she does tons of damage, but right now, it's kind of like Leia. Not enough health, not enough damage. People throw her in just for tuning. So, it's kind of one of those things. If you want to, you want to. If not. Next up, Sabine. I know people do well with Sabine, but I don't think she's that strong. It could be better now with the CC nerfs. Because the big problem was she'd dash in and then you just stun her and then she'd die. That was it. She does tons of damage. Big AoE. Better than Dengar's. Like, it spreads out a lot better. You can aim it. Her special ability is a little weird. Problem is, like, Grenadier is probably the best use of it. And that helps out a lot, but it just doesn't affect that many units. You can kind of make a deck around it, but it's just not as effective as a lot of ones. Just because there's not a lot of explosive. If they come out with more explosive guys, then definitely great. And then finally, we have poor Bees. To be honest, I don't think Bees is hard to quantify, I guess. I think he's in a pretty good spot. Like, he has decent health, decent attack. His skill's pretty good. His special ability's a little weird, but that's why he's so low, I think. One, he's all DPS. And the problem is he's linked to Chirrut so much, and Chirrut just isn't good at 4 energy. They kind of made him a little better last patch. You can't kite him as much, but for 4 energy, he should be a lot better than you. So they either need to make him 3 energy, or they need to give him more health and damage. And then you'll see Baze shoot right up. Like, he could even be S tier if they buff Chirrut. So we'll see what happens with that. But that's my tier list for now, guys. And before I go, I'm going to look at my fail 5, which is the top 5 leaders, I think, ranked for all. So first is definitely Bodhi. Just too much health on everything. Doesn't have to do much. Never die. Like, it's easy number 1. Fennec easy number 2. He's just lots of utility, lots of damage. He's just sneaky. Get in there, shoot, get out. Boba, I think people are going to be surprised by this one, number 3. But Slave 1's so strong right now. So big. He's got so much AoE. And he's just sneaky, man. Jumping over the shit. But you'll see a lot. Like, Boba's going to be tough to play against. Rebels coming up for a little bit now. Then we got 40 Vader. This was the biggest one. I was debating for 40 Vader and Hera for a while. But I think 40 Vader just has so much AoE against swarms that Rebels like to pump out. So this could switch, who knows? But for right now, I think 40 Vader is just a little bit better than Hera, because he, more or less, because he's melee, he can just dive a tower, where Hera doesn't do that. So if all else fails, Vader's just going to go smack the tower, while Hera kind of has to sit back. And then we have Hera. There's basically no explanation needed for Hera. She's better than Jhin. There's nobody else on Empire. Her ability is just so strong. Skill. Carpet bomb everything. Like, oh, you have a tank and Bladesman coming up? Goodbye. But Hera can move up a fair bit, depending how things go. That's it for this week, guys. I hope you enjoyed my tier list. The link to the doc will be in the comments. Got my water. So you can always come see this page, see if it changes. I usually change it like every 2 weeks. So you can see update here when I change it, and then you also see what moves around. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know what you guys think for the tier list. What are your opinions on it? And let me know where you think I went wrong. Alright guys, have a good time, and I'll talk to you later.